From Zero to Hero, Ethan Vale. Ethan Vale entered the world on a cold winter night in a small quiet town whose streets looked tired even in the daylight. Snow pressed against thin wooden walls, and his mother, Hannah, wrapped her newborn son in a blanket far too small to stop the cold. She whispered promises into his tiny ears, promises of love, of hope, of a future she wasn't sure she could give him. His father, Michael, walked out of their lives before Ethan could form his first memory. He left nothing behind. No address, no explanation. Just an empty space in the corner of every room and a deeper emptiness in Hannah's heart. Growing up, Ethan learned early that life didn't have equal distribution. Some children came to school with shiny backpacks and new shoes that squeaked on the floor. Ethan walked with shoes that had learned the shape of every stone on the road. Sometimes the soles flapped when he ran. Sometimes he used tape to hold them together. At school, other kids didn't just notice, they reminded him. Zero, they called him. A word thrown at him like a stone. He didn't know which hurt more, the word itself or how easily people said it. He sat at the back of classrooms, not because he liked the distance but because invisibility became his safe place. Teachers didn't mock him, but they didn't see him either. They spoke to him with soft pity, and pity felt like another kind of insult. Ethan learned to stay quiet, to stay small, to expect little. The world had already decided his value, but his mother never accepted that judgment. Every night, after hours of washing clothes until her fingers burned from soap and cold water, she came home with a tired smile. She stroked Ethan's hair, kissed his forehead, and whispered, "You are more than what the world tells you." Ethan didn't fully understand those words then. But they planted something, a seed that waited patiently for its time to grow. The town he lived in was the kind where nothing big happened and no one expected anything to change. But Ethan was quietly becoming different. While other kids played outside or lost themselves in games, Ethan explored junkyards and trash piles behind repair shops. He had a fascination with broken things. Maybe because he felt broken too. Maybe because he wanted to understand how pieces fit together. Maybe because fixing something gave him a sense of control he didn't have over his own life. Everything changed when he was 14. One day, behind an old cell phone repair shop, he found a dusty, cracked laptop lying in a box marked scrap. The screen had spider web cracks. The keys were missing. The battery looked dangerous. The shop owner laughed when Ethan asked about it. "Trash," the man said. "Completely useless." But Ethan didn't believe in useless things. He carried the laptop home in both hands, holding it like it was made of glass. He spent days opening its back panel, examining wires, Googling solutions on the shop owner's Wi-Fi, and scavenging parts from broken electronics he found around town. For 3 weeks he worked, his fingers often cut, his eyes strained from the weak yellow light bulb in his room. His mother watched him with quiet admiration, even though she worried he was chasing disappointment. Then one morning, when Ethan pressed the power button, the screen flickered. A dim blue light appeared, trembling at first, then steady. The laptop breathed. And so did Ethan. With that broken laptop, he discovered a world much larger than his town. He studied English by watching free videos. He learned coding from tutorials. He practiced typing until his fingers cramped. Every night, he pushed himself deeper into learning. It didn't matter that he was tired. It didn't matter that his stomach was empty. It didn't matter that other kids slept peacefully while he stayed up. Because Ethan could feel something growing inside him, a desire, a flame. At 15, Ethan repaired a neighbor's broken phone. He charged $2. The coins felt heavier than gold in his palm. It wasn't the money, it was the proof that he had something valuable inside him. Something no one could take away. Soon, more people came to him for help: cracked screens, weak batteries, dusty laptops. He fixed them all. He was still called Zero, but inside, that word lost its bite. He used every insult as motivation. Pain became fuel. At 17, Ethan managed to qualify for a community tech program. He walked 6 miles a day because he couldn't afford transportation. Rain soaked him. The sun burned him. Cold winds froze his hands. But he never missed a single class. The instructors noticed his discipline. They saw the spark that others ignored. For the first time, adults actually believed in him. When Ethan turned 18, something powerful happened. His mother placed a small white envelope beside him while he was studying. Inside was $20, her savings from skipped lunches and extra shifts. She said, "Use this for your future." Ethan cried that night, quiet tears that slipped onto his keyboard. He knew the sacrifice behind those $20. He knew love when he saw it. He used the money to buy online courses. Cheap ones. But they opened new doors. He learned website design, better coding, basic digital marketing. He spent months building skill after skill. At 20, Ethan created a freelancing page. No one hired him for 2 months, but every rejection made him stronger. Eventually, a foreign client from Singapore hired him for $50. Ethan nearly trembled when the payment arrived. Half the money went to his mother. She cried in the doorway, and Ethan felt a glow in his chest, a warmth deeper than success. Work flowed slowly. Then faster. His skills grew. His confidence grew. His savings grew. By 22, Ethan rented a tiny office space, bare walls, a shaky fan, a desk he carried on his back, and 2 second-hand chairs. He called it Veil Tech Repair and Design. It wasn't much. But to Ethan, it was everything. The town noticed. People respected him. Some apologized for how they treated him. Even the boy who once shouted Zero applied for a job. Ethan hired him not out of revenge, but out of grace. Forgiveness was lighter to carry than resentment. At 24, he expanded to a larger office with employees. At 26, he built something that changed countless lives, the Veil Learning Center, offering free classes to underprivileged children. He filled the room with computers, books, and hope. During the opening ceremony, a shy boy asked, "Sir, were you always a genius?" Ethan knelt and whispered, "No. I was just a boy who kept going." That boy's eyes filled with hope. Months later, when a storm knocked out the power, Ethan gathered kids around a lantern. He told them the story of how he found his first broken laptop. They listened like it was magic. One girl asked, "Were you ever scared?" Ethan smiled softly. "Every day." Courage is not the absence of fear, it's choosing to move anyway. The next month, the local high school invited him to give a motivational speech. Ethan was terrified but accepted. He practiced for weeks. When he stood on that stage, the same school that once ignored him, he felt the weight of his journey. He told the students, "I started with nothing. I was called zero. But being a zero doesn't mean you stay one. You decide your value." The audience stood and applauded. Teachers cried. Students clapped until their hands hurt. Ethan walked off stage with a full heart. That night, at home, his mother touched his hand and whispered, "You've become everything I dreamed you would be." Ethan hugged her tightly. He realized she was the true hero who never gave up on him. His learning center grew. More children came. More futures changed. One afternoon, Ethan saw the same shy boy teaching younger kids how to type. He smiled. This was success. This was meaning. Outside, under the stars, Ethan stood quietly. The cool air felt different now, not cold, not lonely, but full of possibility. He whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning." Because heroes don't stop. Heroes rise again and again, lighting the way for others. And Ethan Vale, once a boy called Zero, now a man called Hero, was only getting started.